When it comes to mid-range Windows Phone 8 handsets, your only real choices are the Nokia Lumia 820 and the Samsung Ativ Odyssey. Which is best? The Ativ Odyssey for Verizon and the Lumia 820 for AT&T are both mid-range devices, so they're not going to quite blow you away like some of the higher-end stuff out there, but they're both going to get the job done. When you look at the shape, they're hand-friendly, palm-friendly. There's more of a rectangular shape of the 820 on the left, while the Ativ Odyssey has more of curved edges. It's a little more shapely. But when you look at the front, they're both running Windows Phone 8, so you know it has a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core processor and a gig of RAM for each device. Both going to hum along, follow you along with whatever you need to do. When you stack them side by side, you can see that the 820 is a little bit taller. They're about the same thickness, so nothing much there. On the back, the 820 has a soft plastic feel, while there's more of a glossy feel to the Odyssey. I prefer the Lumia's feel. It just feels nicer and better. As well, on the left side, you'll notice that there's buttons on the Ativ Odyssey, while all the buttons are on the right for the 820. They both have back, start, and search buttons, as well as a micro USB charging port, which is standard for Windows Phone 8. But on the Odyssey, the back speaker is a lot louder than you get with the Lumia 820. Not much difference in quality, but in volume. There's a difference in camera though, because the Odyssey only has a 5 megapixel camera with LED. By comparison, when you look at the Lumia, they've got a 8 megapixel camera. On the left, you can see that the Odyssey had a micro USB port exposed, so it's easier to get to. But on the Lumia, like I mentioned, it has the 8 megapixel camera as well as the LED flash. It's got Carl Zeiss optics, and it's pretty good. What's not so good is the Ativ Odyssey screen. When you see them side by side, you can see that they're both set to low brightness, but the reds, the cyans, and the purples look much better on the Lumia 820 on the right. And the 820 is actually not that great of a screen. It's fairly average actually, but by comparison, it just looks much better. You'll see that it's a little wavy on the left-hand side of the screen. The pen-tile display of the Odyssey is just bad. It's a 4-inch screen, but it's very pixelated. It's not very good. On the other hand, the 4.3-inch screen on the Lumia 820 actually looks kind of decent. WVGA resolution, the text is going to display clearly and fine. Right now, you're seeing a comparison of how they display black colors. Colors are going to be a little bit darker on the Lumia 820, brighter on the Odyssey. So in terms of overall quality of the screen, the Lumia 820 is the clear winner here. Because Microsoft has done a good job of standardizing Windows Phone 8 and is making it consistent, you kind of know what to expect when it comes to these two devices. They're running the same processor, the same RAM, the same software, but you will notice very small, little differences in performance when you run benchmark tests on each. And remember, these are just benchmarks. They're just showing you that the Ativ Odyssey is going to come out on top pretty much every time you run it. So that split second faster you're going to get with the Ativ Odyssey. The same kind of true for speed test. It'll vary depending on where you are, AT&T versus Verizon, but I put them both on Wi-Fi for just to see how they perform on Wi-Fi, and the Odyssey came out on top there as well. So when you run a test, pretty much all the time you're going to see the Odyssey is slightly better in performance, but the difference between the two is very small. So really what it comes down to, aside from performance, which is going to be the same, is how are the apps. Pretty much Nokia Lumia 820 is going to be the best choice when it comes to apps because you're going to get more just flat out. Nokia's made deals with companies to bring their apps to the store. So in terms of third party, you're going to get a lot more options and you're going to get them first on Nokia. When you see the Zone versus the Collection, you'll see that when I swipe on the Samsung Zone, there's only like 6 apps, while there's more than a dozen for the Nokia Collection because Nokia has made their own apps to enhance Windows Phone 8, and they've gotten other third parties to come to their device first. So in terms of app experience, Nokia Lumia 820 is a clear winner here. And that theme kind of plays out when you go to other sides of the phone. For instance, Maps is powered by Nokia Maps, obviously. But the Nokia Maps on the Lumia 820 is a little bit better than the standard version that you get with Windows Phone 8. You can double tap to zoom on the Odyssey, but you can also have different layers on Nokia Maps. It's much easier to get to. They also have Nokia Drive, which again you can get on the Odyssey, but it tends to perform a little bit better on the Lumia 820, and because it's developed by Nokia, you know to expect more. And aside from Nokia Drive, they have other things like they have Express, they have Music, and they have City Lens. City Lens is a really cool app because you can use augmented reality to find local things in your area to do. So you just hold the phone up, you tap a layer of what type of place you'd like to visit, and then it tells you and guides you through the local scene. The Lumia 820 has Nokia Music, which is a nice little way of streaming a song or purchasing it later on. It has mixed radio, so Pandora style, you can say, hey, I like this artist, play more like him. There's also gigs, which basically tells you when musicians are coming to your show. So it's a very nice eclectic mix. You can download songs for offline use, and Samsung has a feature that's kind of similar in Music Hub. You can also download songs here. You can also stream them or purchase them. So this is powered by 7 Digital, and it has millions of songs as well. So it really boils down to whichever one you like better. So it really shouldn't affect your decision because they both have strong music apps. And of course, you can get other music apps in the Windows Phone Store. One feature on the Ativ Odyssey that I really like is the live wallpaper. Basically, what this does is shows a different image most of the times that you open your lock screen. So instead of having one standard lock screen image, you can have up to 12, and it kind of randomizes it. You can remove them later, you can add new ones, and it's pretty easy to do. All you do is choose picture, choose from your camera roll or some sample pictures, wherever you have them stored. You just save them. As long as it's up to 10, you can move them around, and then when you turn on your screen the next time, what do you know? You've got a new image on your lock screen. It doesn't change every single time you open it, but it does rotate on a fairly consistent basis. The Lumia 820 has a better camera than the Ativ Odyssey, and is not the reason that you think. It's not about 8 megapixels being bigger than 5 megapixels. What it boils down to is the camera quality of the Lumia 820 is passable and usable, not great, while the Ativ Odyssey is pretty bad. It tends to be noisy and dark and just pretty much out of focus most of the time. And another problem with that is the actual camera button is kind of flimsy. So when you push down on it, you're pushing down on the entire phone, and with the bad sensor as it is, you can't afford that tap coming. Always tap on screen and take a picture with that. Here you see a couple of samples. There's a lot of light going on in this particular image, so it actually doesn't do a bad job. By comparison, you can see the Lumia 820 has something that's a little more accurate to how the image looked. If you want, you can edit it to make it brighter. Here again, you see the Ativ Odyssey. This one's not that bad either. No extra light coming in, but it's a standard look. Very dark photos. Here on the 820, you see a bad photo that's kind of a little bit noisy. You might not see it on screen, but trust me, it's noisy. What's working in the 820's favor is that you can expand and download additional lenses to take more types of photos. So you can take a panorama. You can take a cinematograph, which is like an animated GIF where one part is standard. On Samsung, you can download one lens, which is beauty, and it's not that great. It's pretty much an ineffective way of removing blemishes from your photos. I like that the Lumia 820 has interchangeable back covers in case you want to change the color or get an inductive charger to charge up the battery. The battery, by the way, is 1,650 milliamps, but unfortunately, it covers up the micro SD slot. So it's going to get you through the day, but you'll have to turn the phone off to access the micro SD slot, which is unfortunate. You don't have that problem with the Ativ Odyssey because its slot is external when it comes to micro SD. Also, the battery life, 2,100 milliamp. It's a beast. It's going to get you through the whole day without issue, and it's clearly going to outclass the Lumia 820 in terms of battery life. So which is the phone to get? They're both Windows Phone 8 handsets, so you kind of know what to expect. You're going to get the same browser, the same communication options, and almost a near identical performance. Even though the Ativ Odyssey has better battery life, and even though it has a louder speaker, the screen is very hard to overlook, so I think that the Lumia 820 is a much better option to get. You're not going to get as long battery life, but you're going to get better options. a better display, a better design that feels nicer, and it's just overall better than the Odyssey. The Odyssey has too many faults, the key one being the screen. If it weren't for that screen, I'd actually say take a chance on this one because of the better battery life. But otherwise, I'd say get the Lumia 820 or the 810 on T-Mobile or the 822 on Verizon. If you're going to get a mid-range Windows Phone 8 device, you might as well make it a Lumia.